It is December 1st, 45 degrees and sunny. Not much wind here in Philadelphia. Bruce Arians grew up in York, Pennsylvania. Returning to Philly, he was head coach at Temple University back in the 80s. Chip Kelly's Eagles coming off the bye. Eagles have won 3 straight. Cardinals have won their last 4. The Eagles have won the toss, elected to defer. So Alex Henry will get things started. Javier. Eagles have won 3 straight. Cardinals have won their last 4. The Eagles have won the toss, elected to defer. So Alex Henry will get things started. Javier Arenas back deep for the Cardinals, and we are underway in Philadelphia. Arenas from the 1. Out across the 20, still on his feet. Out to the 26-yard line. Brad Smith made the tackle on special teams for the Eagles, as Carson Palmer, the reigning NFC Offensive Player of the Week, leads the Cardinals offense onto the field. They will be without their leading rusher, the rookie out of Clemson, Andre Ellington.
And that's a big loss this afternoon. Andre Ellington giving that burst, a very nice compliment to Rashad Mendenhall in the run game.
It's Mendenhall in the backfield. Cardinals start from their 26-yard line, and this is Mendenhall up the middle. Cardinals ranked 16th offensively.
Yeah, but they're really starting to take some strides as a group, and it does take time. When you make that change, it's going to be difficult to find the subtleties, but really I think the big thing, this group right here, when you talk about the passing game, developing that trust, and also getting some complementary weapons around Larry Fitzgerald to put stress on the defense.
Cardinals have scored at least 27 points in each of their 4 games during the win streak. Quick out to Andre Roberts. Michael Kendricks returning. Missed the Eagles' last game against Washington. Kendricks makes the tackle, so 3rd down and 5 coming up for the Cardinals.
And this is the group that I really think is playing well. The defensive line and the linebackers. Defensive coordinator Bill Davis was actually able to take advantage of that bye week. Go back to week 1 against the Redskins, to their last game before the bye against the Redskins. Really draw a great comparison of where they've improved, and he really felt that defensive line and the linebackers really starting to play good football.
Cardinals empty the backfield on 3rd down and 5. Arizona must get to the 36 as Palmer is hit, loses the football, and it looks like Benny Logan has recovered.
Benny Logan on the recovery, but it's Trent Cole coming from the defensive right side. Going to get that loop all the way around here, and that veteran savvy of knowing not just the sack, but the opportunity for the sack fumble.
If there's one guy you want to go and block, it's right there, Trent Cole. Smart guy, goes like Darryl talked about, when attack the ball on the arm, force the fumble, now puts Philadelphia's offense in a really good situation here.
4th sack of the season for Cole. Logan, the recovery. Nick Foles and the Eagles start from the Cardinals' 25-yard line. Red Selleck shifting. Foles faked the handoff to LaShawn McCoy and hits the tight end Selleck, his 300th career reception. Gain of 3. Eagles with the 4th-ranked offense in the NFL.
And a lot of it has to do with this offensive line up front, been able to stay together. Riley Cooper really starting to develop opposite Deshaun Jackson. There's opportunities for him, and he's been taking advantage of them.
On 2nd and 7, pass intended for Selleck. Carlos Dansby on the coverage.
And this is a tough defense. Tony talked about it against the run game. Can they stop LaShawn McCoy? I think the other challenge, you see the pace of play right here, right now. This is a defense that likes to throw a lot of different things at you. Are they going to be able to do that with Philadelphia's up-tempo style of offense?
Eagles quickly up to the line. 3rd down and 7 from the Cardinals' 22. Foles on 1st
We've had an opportunity to do Philadelphia earlier in the year against the Giants here at home, and I tell you, I have not seen them playing at this pace. I know this is just the opening drive, but this is faster than we had seen them play during the course of that game.
Two tight end set, falls out of the shotgun. Cooper in motion, first and goal from the 6. Off the fake toss to McCoy, falls to the end zone, touchdown! Zach Ertz, the rookie tight end out of Stanford.
Well, when you've got somebody like LaShawn McCoy and you know you like to run the football, you're going to really bait somebody when you get this. You're going to get that whole defense running hard to their right. You boot out the back door, and there's Zach Ertz in the end zone. Nice play design, nice concept down in the red zone, understanding Arizona is an aggressive front that will chase the ball.
Second touchdown for Ertz this season. Henry, the extra point. 17th touchdown pass, no interceptions for Foles, and it was all set up by the Trent Cole sack and forced fumble.
This game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Back in Philadelphia, Eagles win the toss, elect to defer, force a turnover, and then Foles hits Zach Ertz for the early touchdown. Cardinals will start from the 20, trailing 7-0. What a difference a year makes. Both teams lost 11 of their last 12 a season ago. Andy Reid, 14 seasons in Philadelphia. Ken Whisenhunt, 6 seasons in Arizona. Both teams in playoff contention this year under first-year head coaches.
And you pointed out at the top, Kenny, you couldn't ask for anything more when you make that change to be in the month of December playing a meaningful football game with a first-year head coach. And it's a credit to both of these coaches, Chip Kelly and Bruce Arians, keeping their guys together, weathering a slow start, and getting better and better as the season progresses.
Building and building.
Cardinals with their first turnover the last 3 games on their opening possession as Mendenhall gains 3 up to the 23-yard line.
I think this is going to be a key element. We mentioned Andre Ellington is out of the lineup. Rashard Mendenhall is going to have to do layman's work this afternoon. He was banged up early in the year with a toe and a knee injury. You really kind of saw him getting back into his old form against the Colts, but he's going to miss that compliment with his buddy Andre Ellington in the backfield.
Ellington, the Cardinals' leading rusher, he's been the big playback. Mendenhall's longest run this season, just 15 yards. Palmer looking to throw on 2nd and 6, and the catch is made for a first down by Michael Floyd, who's had a terrific season. That's his 50th reception, so he is now tied with Larry Fitzgerald for the team lead.
Yeah, and I really think that this is one of the reasons why this passing game is really becoming dangerous for the Arizona Cardinals, because for a while it was just Larry Fitzgerald. Michael Floyd adds that complement at the wide receiver spot. You add Rob Hausler from the tight end position. You've got to worry about more weapons in the passing game than just number 11.
On first down, it's Mendenhall. Out to the 37, Cedric Thornton makes the tackle gain of just 2.
Yeah, Darryl, we had the Eagles against the Giants earlier in the season. I'll tell you what, this defense looks completely different. Doing a really nice job of running. Everyone's getting to the ball. Complete turnaround, I think, from earlier in the season. Like you mentioned, Darryl, this team has gotten better and better over the weeks.
Stephon Taylor in the backfield, rookie out of Stanford. On 2nd and 8, this is Taylor. Looks to cut it back inside. And Goose, that swarming defense, you were just talking about this much improved Eagles defense. It's Michael Kendricks leading the way to make the tackle.
And that's the one thing you have to rely on if you're going to be a good defense. Everybody has to run to the football. The athletes that you're going to face week in and week out at the NFL have the ability to make one person miss. So the one thing you love to see is gang tackling like that with a number of your guys around the ball.
3rd down and 5 for the Cardinals. Cardinals must get to the 45-yard line. And they do on forward progress. And there is a late flag. Catch was made by Jerron Brown, rookie out of Clemson. Tony Corrente, our referee today.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, picking a player up and slamming him into the ground. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
And this is going all the way back to the beginning of the season. This was a point of emphasis. Now, forward progress is stopped at that point. The whistles are blowing and let you lift the player and slam him onto the ground. You're going to get flagged in that situation. The Eagles fans here are not very happy about that, but it's the correct call.
Bradley Fletcher returning to the Eagles lineup. Missed the last 2 games. 15 yards on the personal foul. So the Cardinals in Eagles territory. From the 39-yard line off the fake to Mendenhall. Palmer going deep for Floyd. And it is picked off by Nate Allen. The second Arizona turnover in as many possessions. And Allen brings it all the way out, close to midfield. A 47-yard return by Allen, who celebrated his 26th birthday yesterday.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Following the interception, ball has been spotted at the 48-yard line. First pick of the season for Allen. Second Arizona turnover. As Foles is wrapped up back at the 40-yard line by Carlos Dansby. Now let's take you back to the interception. All turnovers are automatically reviewed. The question is, was Allen contacted here in the helmet after he had possession, and should he have been ruled down?
Yeah, he would have been down where he landed on the ground there instead of all the way out towards midfield.
Following the sack out to the 42-yard line, Sean McCoy. So a huge swing in field position because it was not ruled that Allen was down inside the 10-yard line. Third down and 16. Eagles must get to the Cardinals 42. Foles can't find anyone, and now he takes off. And he is down at the 49-yard line, so the Eagles go 3 and out following the Allen interception.
Yeah, and this is one of the things I think Nick Foles has done really well. You're going to look downfield. You're not going to be able to find anybody open. Good coverage across the board by the Cardinals secondary. And Chip Kelly's rule is touchdown, first down, get down. And Nick Foles does a really nice job of not taking those unnecessary hits when he scrambles.
He's got to work on that slide a little better, though, now.
A little hesitant on whether to...
Not that great of a slide.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Ford. Only Ford gives you EcoBoost fuel economy and a whole lot more. By Nationwide Insurance. Nationwide is on your side. And by Forza Motorsports 5, exclusively on Xbox One.
Aerial coverage provided by Nationwide Insurance here in Philadelphia, with the Eagles leading the Cardinals 7-0. Slow start for this Arizona offense. They've put up 400 yards in back-to-back games. No turnovers in either of those 2 games. 2 in 2 possessions so far today. Cardinals start from the 11. It's Mendenhall up the middle. Rashard Mendenhall out to the 20-yard line for a gain of 9.
I'll tell you one thing that Philadelphia's doing. They're putting 8 guys in the box, but Arizona is not backing down on the run game. They're running right into an overloaded box and doing a really good job doing it. Darryl, looks like Mendenhall, looks like he lost some weight, man. He used to be a little thicker.
Cardinals send in Bobby Massey as an extra blocker, number 70. Here's Mendenhall, and he picks up a first down out to the 24.
Yeah, I just think you're trying to get that rhythm established early, Tony. So sometimes, you know, you don't want to get out of that audible. Sometimes you'll come up with some run it plays, maybe running into some looks right now against Philadelphia defensively that maybe they don't want to opt out of. But I think that Bruce Arians right now, he's got to do something. You know, Kenny talked about the start to this game, the drives, the turnovers on both possessions for the Arizona Cardinals.
Sack, fumble, and an interception. Palmer off the play fake, and the catch is made by the tight end Jim Trey. And Trey picks up an Arizona first down before he's tackled by Connor Barwin, a gain of 17.
And this is one of the things that you have to defend against now. When Arizona is on offense, it's not just all about number 11, Larry Fitzgerald. You know, he's going to be lined up all across the formation. The ball is going to be thrown to the person that's designated for it to go to. Carson Palmer is going to read coverages. He's going to find out where that should take him to throw the football. So you're going to have to guard against everybody that's an option in this passing game.
And Palmer with 4 completions to 4 different receivers, none of them named Fitzgerald. Here's Mendenhall running hard up the middle, out to the 46-yard line. A gain of 5. Trent Cole, the tackle.
And, you know, as soon as you kind of get lulled to sleep with this, that, you know, you forget about Larry Fitzgerald for a split second, Tony. He's going to make you pay for it. So.
Oh, absolutely. He is a dangerous man. The way he attacks the ball, goes up and gets it.
And he has had some huge games against the Philadelphia Eagles. Second down and 5, it's Mendenhall. Not much. Gains a yard. Betting Logan in on the tackle, so it will be 3rd down and 4 for the Cardinals, who turn the ball over on each of their first 2 possessions.
But when you sit down with Bruce Arians, you know, you sense a little bit of old school with him. You know, I mean, this is a coach who was with Bear Bryant when he was young and learned from one of the tougher guys there is in the coaching industry. So you're going to have a little bit of this style with this Arizona team.
He's really pleased with his team, you know, learning the concepts, coming together. He really likes the chemistry of his team also.
Empty backfield for Arizona. 3rd down and 4 as Palmer throws, and the tight end Hausler thought about running before he had position.
Exactly, Kenny. Just a little bit of detail, all the fine points. You know, sometimes you don't go through the process right here. You got to look at all the way in. You've got an opportunity to convert. You take your eyes off that ball, start to look downfield.
So here's Dave Zastinel out to punt for the first time. Sean Jackson back deep for the Eagles. And a fair catch is called for by Jackson at the 18-yard line. Philadelphia gets the ball back, leading by 7. Well, Nick Foles with a touchdown pass in this first quarter. Now in 2nd place all alone. Most touchdown passes to start a season before throwing an interception. Peyton Manning 20 this year. Foles had been tied with Milt Plum of the 1960 Browns, in case you're wondering. Plum out of Penn State. In 57, the Browns selected Jim Brown in the 1st round. Milt Plum was their 2nd round pick. Trivia for you, Darryl.
And talking about being overshadowed in a draft.
Yeah, really. What a catch by Zach Ertz, who has the Eagles touchdown. Ertz out to the 40-yard line, a 22-yard pass play.
Yeah, that was a really nice catch, because you're going to have a Cardinal defender flash right in front of him. Great concentration through the catch by Zach Ertz.
Tell you what, this offensive line for the Eagles doing a great job of keeping Nick Foles clean.
Here's McCoy, cuts to his right. And Darryl alluded to it earlier, this offensive line, because they have been together for all 12 games. The same group of 5 starters on the Eagles offensive line.
Yeah, one of only 3 teams in the NFL to do that, and I can't tell you how important that is. This is the one group that really needs to develop chemistry during the course of the season, and when you've got injuries and you're in and out of the lineup, it really has an impact on that offensive line.
On 2nd down and 8, inside handoff to McCoy, but it did not fool the Pro Bowl linebacker Darrell Washington.
You know, you hear about the offense that Chip Kelly is going to bring to Philadelphia when he comes in, and nobody was more excited than LaShawn McCoy. He knew he was going to get a heavy dose of running and have a lot of opportunities to get some yards.
Leads the NFL in both rushing and yards from scrimmage as the handoff is to McCoy, and he is stopped 2 yards shy of the marker by Marcus Bernard, so the Eagles will send out the punting unit.
Yeah, they were sticking with the run on that. McCoy, one thing, Darryl, you know, he's got to make decisions early. I'll tell you what, he can really go and make you go and plant your feet and stop your feet. But when he has a little bit of area between him and the guy who's trying to tackle him, he needs to go and make decisions and stay with it.
Peterson breaks away from the first tackle attempt and is down at the 12. Carson Palmer and the Cardinals trailing the Eagles 7-0. Slow start for this Arizona Cardinals offense. 2 turnovers and a punt. They start from the 12-yard line. Empty backfield for Arizona. Palmer on first down to the outside, and the catch is made by Taylor for a Cardinals first down out to the 27, a 16-yard pass play.
But when you go empty, you leave your quarterback wide open to quarterback hits. And again, it's D'Amico Ryans getting there that time? No, Trent Cole.
Trent Cole once again on the outside.
Hausler shifting from the 28-yard line. First catch of the day for Larry Fitzgerald. And Fitzgerald takes it out to the 37.
Yeah, and he's one of the more unselfish players in the NFL. He's not one of those wide receivers where you have to get him in touch because, gosh, we're almost at the end of the first quarter and he hasn't gotten a pass thrown his way yet. But really, you know, just this offense is about, you know, finding the guys. You're going to have to go across the line of scrimmage, you know, in every different position to get it. But I think right now you need to start getting Larry involved in this game.
Second down and 1. It's Mendenhall, first down and more into Eagles territory. Gain of 14 as we check in with Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
Going for an 8th straight win, Carolina's Cam Newton ran for 56 yards, and then a couple plays later threw to Brandon LaFell wide open for a 16-yard score. They lead 7-3 over Tampa Bay. Kenny Moose and Goose.
Thanks, Kurt. The last team to beat the Carolina Panthers, these Arizona Cardinals, back on October 6th. Nearly 2 months ago. Panthers with 7 consecutive victories. From the Eagles 49. Palmer under pressure. There is a flag. Down he goes.
Holding, offense, number 63. This penalty has been declined. It results in the play, 2nd down.
Carson Palmer, not an early option to get out of this with a check down. He's got to hold this ball. All the routes going deep down the field. You see some twisting in that defensive front. There's the hold by Lyle Senline.
Penalty declined. 3rd sack of the season for D'Amico Ryans. 2nd down at 19. This is Britton Golden. His 2nd catch of the season. Forced out of bounds by Cary Williams. Gain of just 4. So the Cardinals now facing a 3rd down and 15. Time winding down to this first quarter. Eagles forced a turnover on the Cardinals' first possession. Quickly capitalized. Lead by the score of 7-0. We start the second quarter here in Philadelphia. Cardinals have won 4 straight. Eagles 3 in a row. Eagles lead 7-0. 3rd down and 15 for Arizona. Palmer going deep. Pass intended for Andre Roberts. Bradley Fletcher on the coverage.
We talked about the front and the linebackers for the Philadelphia Eagle defense, but really so far this afternoon, their secondary has played very well against all the different threats on this Cardinals offense. Right there, Bradley Fletcher, step for step down the field.
Zastanil punting from his own 35-yard line. And it will stay out of the end zone, down at the 1 by Brian McCann. So the Eagles must go 99 yards. And Darryl, so much has been made about what Chip Kelly thinks of the time of possession statistic. In the first quarter, Eagles had the ball for only 4 minutes, 15 seconds, yet they lead 7-0.
Yeah, when he was at Oregon for 6 seasons, dead last in time of possession, but most points per game in college football. So he looks at it as an overrated stat. He talks about, running efficient plays at a very, very quick pace. That's how you get out of sync sometimes. But we feel that he has to adjust that a little bit. He's putting a lot of stress on his defense. His defense is out there for a lot of plays during the course of the game. Can they keep that up all season long?
Look at you, Darryl, having a heart for the defense. I love that, man.
That's a lot of snaps are out there.
You're telling me?
There's McCoy out to the 8-yard line, gain of 6.
They get a defensive lineman comes in at 330, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, he's 280. Why is this guy losing so much weight? Well, Coach Ray averaging 70 plays a game. That's something that those big guys can't really handle very well.
The Eagles defense, Goose, on the field 35 minutes per game this season. Second down and 4. Here's McCoy, turns the corner, and looks to have an Eagles first down.
I like that little play right there, Darryl, pulling the lineman out to the outside. Little fake, and then Shady goes and takes it around the corner there for the first.
Yeah, and the receivers for the Philadelphia Eagles have bought into this too. They do a nice job blocking out on the perimeter.
From the 13-yard line, falls to Deshaun Jackson, and Jackson picks up another Eagles first down. Go to 14 out to the 27-yard line.
Yeah, you just can't lose track of Deshaun Jackson. He's going to motion inside. This has got to be one of your alerts, that little bubble screen right back to the outside, because as he goes in motion, he takes his defender away, and now you're 2-on-2 with the blocking on the outside. You can't let Deshaun Jackson get one-on-one in space.
Jackson playing on his 27th birthday today. Bryce Brown in the backfield. And this is Brown, his first carry. Pushing the pile forward out to the 33 for a gain of 6.
Well, we talked about the changeup with Andre Ellington and Rashard Mendenhall for the Cardinals. I like Bryce Brown and LaShawn McCoy as well. Bryce Brown, real physical power runner inside.
This is Brown again. But this time we'll lose yardage as Darryl Washington forces him out of bounds. So after the 6-yard gain, Brown loses 8.
Yeah, but that play was made by Calais Campbell, getting that penetration up the field and forcing Bryce Brown outside.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, see the wristbands right there. That's something you don't really see very often. All the players on the defense for the Cardinals, that's because of the speed of the offense for the Eagles. They're up on the line of scrimmage and they need to go and communicate. So they decided to go and get wristbands on everybody so they can go and just give a number out there and they all know where they have to line up.
And they practice, Goose, with those wristbands all week long. Back home in Arizona. On the screen, this is Ertz. And he is tackled from behind by John Abraham. So the Eagles will punt it away. Cardinals defense did not want to waste time huddling to get the defensive signals into everybody, knowing how fast the Eagles offense works. So they went to the system with the cards on the sidelines, and each defensive player has that play sheet on their wrists, which you normally see on the offensive side. Looks like the punt touched one of the Cardinals. And then fortunately for Arizona, it is picked up by Antoine Cason, and then he loses the football. Eagles have recovered. It's the 3rd Arizona turnover.
This is unbelievable. You get lucky with the deflection right there. So Javier Arenas. Now, Philadelphia, it's all over. They should have been able to recover it in a heads-up play by Antoine Cason. But you cannot have that ball out loose. We're going to have to review this. All turnovers are reviewed, so we'll take a look and see if he was down before that ball came loose.
Peterson was yelling for everybody to get away. It deflected off Arenas. Cason picks it up. And let's see if we can determine whether or not he was down before the ball came loose. Remember, all turnovers are reviewed upstairs. So the play is under review.
The previous play will go under review.
When we come back, we will hear from referee Tony Correnti. Looked like his knee was down.
Today's game is sponsored by the all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado. Strong for all the roads ahead. By Sprint. And by Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time.
Here's Tony Correnti.
After reviewing the play, the Arizona's runner left knee was down on the ground with the ball in his possession. Therefore, they retain possession of the football. It'll be Arizona's ball, first down at the 43-yard line.
Good call by the officials as we check in with Mike Pereira in Los Angeles. Mike, I assume you agree.
Yeah, absolutely. They had to go back and look at the touch originally, even though Arizona recovered the ball and returned it. But the left shin is down before the ball gets pulled out.
There it is. Cason's left shin is down. Thanks, Mike. So the Cardinals with good field position. They start from the 43-yard line, trailing 7-0. Empty backfield for Arizona. Palmer on first down, and the catch cannot be brought in by Britton Gold. It looked like he had it initially, and then it was knocked free. Patrick Chung on the coverage.
Almost makes a heck of a catch right here, going up and pulling that one back over the top.
Up and over the helmet of Chung, but Golden unable to maintain possession.
I'm surprised Patrick Chung didn't get a flag. He's got to get his head back around and see where that ball is. Looks like he had his hands on it before he touched it. No call.
2nd and 10. The handoff to Stephon Taylor. Time for a game break to Los Angeles. Kurt.
Well, the Patriots were down at Houston 10-0 in the first quarter, but they come right back. Brady hooking up with Gronkowski. Nice catch there. 23 yards in the score. New England's first half touchdown since week 9 goes them to within 3 early in the second quarter. Kenny Moose and Goose.
All right, thanks, Kurt. Going up against the Texans, who have lost 9 in a row. 3rd down and 5. Clock at 3. Cardinals must get to the Eagles' 47. And Roberts attempting to stretch out. It will depend on the spot.
I think that stretch got him the first down, Kenny.
Our yellow line, of course, is unofficial.
That's a very heads-up play, understanding where you are on the field.
And they play it so well, it's almost like they could see the yellow line, but they can't, you know?
And now is he down before he stretches out?
Oh.
So if they get the first down here, you wonder if Chip Kelly's going to throw that red flag. They do have the first. There it comes.
Well, you wonder if it was forward progress right when he caught the ball. Let's take a look at it right here. And that's still behind the yellow line now.
Roberts cut back the other way, and then it looks like the left knee was down. So Chip Kelly challenging the call on the field. Eagles challenging the call on the field was first down. Mike Pereira, what do you think?
Good challenge by Chip Kelly. Remember, no forward progress until he's touched. So even though he makes the catch here, he's going back on his own. So now it's where is the ball when the right
After
knee
review,
first
the
touches.
Arizona's runner knee was down with the ball just short of the line to gain. Therefore, it'll be fourth down with 1/4 yard to gain at the 47.25 yard line. Philadelphia is not charged with a timeout.
So the knee of Roberts was down, Mike.
Yeah, a good decision by Tony Correni. Again, no forward progress, and the right knee's down at about the 47.5 yard line, and they had to get to the 47. So really good challenge by Chip Kelly.
And because it was a successful challenge, Kelly still has 2 challenges remaining. So now the Cardinals will leave their offense out on the field, 4th and about a half-yard.
I don't know, in this situation right now, you haven't been playing well offensively. You've had some turnovers. You got lucky on special teams with another potential turnover. I'd kick the ball and play some defense right now and just be fortunate to only be down 7 with kind of a slow start for my offense this afternoon. I know it's probably only going to be a 1/4 of a yard, but half a yard at most. But you put Philadelphia right back in great field position with the opportunity to get down and get points.
Yeah, I agree, Darryl. I'd say kick it away, try and pin him back a little bit.
Yeah, flip
Play a
the
little
field.
defense. Yeah. Got a lot of time. Got 11 minutes still.
Mendenhall able to pick up a first down. So that quiets the crowd here in Philadelphia. Gain of 3 to the Eagles' 45-yard line.
Nice run by Rashard Mendenhall on this. Going right at the point of attack. D'Amico Ryan stepping in, and then he just shifts to the outside. Good pad level at the point of contact.
Floyd in motion. New set of downs for the Cardinals. It's Mendenhall up the middle. And Mendenhall has another Cardinals first down to the Eagles' 32, a gain of 13.
And when they've gone straight downhill, Tony, that's when they've had their most success. Now trying to get off tackle or on the edge. Watch this one, just straight downhill.
Yeah, the one thing is this Eagles defense is 2 gaps. So you see the defensive linemen there. They got to play both gaps. They can pick one, and then the linebackers play off them. When you go and you attack right at him, you attack the hole, a lot of times you're going to just get arm tackles because the offensive linemen are going to go and glue on those defensive linemen. That's the one thing that I don't like about playing 2-gap.
It's Mendenhall again, this time not much. Brandon Graham made the tackle for the Eagles.
A lot easier for those defensive linemen when you just tell them this is your gap, right, Darryl?
So if you're attacking them right into the center, you know, in between the defensive tackle, that nose guard area, from guard to guard, that's where you put the most stress on those linemen when they're 2-gap responsibilities?
Yeah, it's inside. Not just on the downhill runs, but the cutbacks also. You see them run a little bit of that zone blocking up front. The cutback is more towards the middle of the field with a guy on the nose and the zero technique.
Second down and 9. Palmer in trouble. Palmer sacked for the 3rd time today. It is Brandon Graham with his 2nd of the season.
Yeah, nice little stunt right over the middle.
Yeah, big thing is going to be coming from your left. Brandon Graham coming to the inside. Splits 2 defenders, and that whole pocket just collapsed on Carson Palmer.
There's that swarm we keep talking about from that defense. Do a nice job of tackling also. I mean, we've seen some horrendous tackling over the last 3 or 4 weeks at various games, and the Eagles are doing a really nice job of wrapping up.
3rd down and 20. As Palmer fires to Fitzgerald, he makes the catch. He's inside the 10 and takes Takes it in for an Arizona touchdown.
I tell you what, he is something special. He really is. This is some pretty good contact at the point of the catch, and you know, whether he's elevating and making catches out of the air at the highest point, but he's also very physical. I mean, watch the hit he takes here right as the ball gets there, and his ability to maintain his balance. I mean, he hardly gets knocked back down the field.
I mean, he is not a normal receiver, either 6'3", 218. I mean, Larry is a big man. So you better make sure you bring a lot of guys if you want to go get him down.
Jay Feely, the extra point. We are tied at 7. So on 3rd down and 20. Palmer hits Fitzgerald. He breaks free. 43-yard touchdown reception.
Today's game is sponsored by the all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado. Strong for all the roads ahead.
We mentioned earlier Larry Fitzgerald has had some huge games against the Eagles prior to today. 35 receptions in 5 games, including the postseason. 9 touchdowns, and now number 10. In fact, the last 2 times he faced the Eagles, he was named the NFC Offensive Player of the Week following those games.
He's a special receiver, and you can see the types of afternoons that he's had against this Philadelphia Eagle defense.
Brandon Boykin takes it out. And Boykin is met by Javier Arenas at the 22-yard line, with the Eagles and Cardinals tied at 7. Catch all the highlights from around the league tonight on Fox Sports Live, 11 Eastern on Fox Sports 1.
And you go back to that 4th down decision by Coach Arians, you know, out near midfield. Tony and I kind of took the conservative approach. Let's flip field, get our defense back out there. We've had a tough start offensively. He takes the aggressive approach, converts that 1st down, and rewarded with that touchdown pass to Larry Fitzgerald.
On 3rd down and 20. So now the Eagles start from their 22-yard line. A pump fake by Foles. He was hit as he throws, and it's McCoy who picks up a 1st down and more. LaShawn McCoy out to the 42-yard line. Gain of 20.
Wow, this is a nice job on the screen, but a lot of it has to go to Nick Foles. He's going to take a hit right here from Darnell Docker with him right in his face. But look at all the big bodies out in front of LaShawn McCoy on that screen.
Now the handoff to McCoy. And McCoy is tackled by Dockett just as he crosses midfield.
Yeah, you know, Dow, you talk about the running backs, LaShawn McCoy, Bryce Brown. You know, the speed of this offense and how they run plays so fast, it's hard to get these guys out. It's very unusual to see LaShawn McCoy out. These guys not only have to be able to run and stay being conditioned, but they got to block. They got to do a lot of things back there in order to go fit into this offensive game plan.
Off the fake to Brown, it is Jason Avant at the Cardinals 30. Another Eagles 1st down and 20-yard pass play.
This is a lot to process right here, too. You got the play action pass, you're booting out the backside, but then you're throwing back across the field to Jason Avant. He was wide open.
Nick Foles is now 9 of 10 for 107 yards and a touchdown. Foles with loads of time. He's hit again as he throws. So it's only the 2nd incompletion as Marcus Bernard knocked Foles to the turf.
You have to go back to the beginning of the season. Now, the reps were shared in the OTAs, you know, through training camp, in the preseason. In week 2 in the preseason, Chip Kelly decides to go with Michael Vick. And Nick Foles has just been on fire the last 3 games. It's been phenomenal. And we asked him, you know, what's the difference? And he said his confidence is through the roof right now playing within our system.
2nd down and 10. What a catch by Riley Cooper. He breaks free. Cooper takes it down to the Arizona 6.
I tell you, this is just somebody outside making a play, because this is overthrown by Nick Foles. Look at that. One-handed grab, and then the ability to get down and get back down the field. That is a heck of a play by Riley Cooper.
His first catch today gains 24 yards.
Nick Foles is split out.
Brad Smith checks in, and he will take the snap. Foles split wide to the right. We've seen Smith in the Wildcat, number 16 with the Jets and the Bills. He bobbles the snap. So they might be taking that one out of the playbook.
Well, you know, sometimes I think you just try to get too cute once you get into the red zone. I mean, you've been moving the ball up and down the field with your traditional offense, and let me tell you what, I was not a fan of the Wildcat when it came in years ago in Miami. I'm still not a fan of the Wildcat right now. And when you've got good players in certain positions, I do not understand why you change those spots to run a very, very small segment of an offense.
There's too much speed in the NFL to go and run that Wildcat, I think, also.
Well, especially in this part of the field,
Yeah.
Tony. This is critical. You've got to get 7 and not take 3.
Second and goal from the 10-yard line. They give to McCoy. And he hurdles his way down to the 8. Calais Campbell to tackle.
It's amazing the speed. You know, when you're down here on the field, just how fast this offense goes and gets to the line of scrimmage. And defenders, man, I'll tell you, it's hard to go and get lined up. I'm watching the communication right here, right behind the Cardinals, and it's amazing that they're getting lined up.
Third and goal from the 8-yard line. As Foles is sacked for the second time today at the 14-yard line. It is John Abraham, the 14-year vet. That is his 8th sack in the last 6 games.
Yeah, he has just been reborn out in Arizona. You know, coming from Atlanta and expecting big things there, and you know, kind of slowed down with his production. But he's been outstanding for the Arizona Cardinals defense as an edge pressure rusher.
No sacks the first 6 games for Abraham, 8 the last 6. Here's Alex Henry out to attempt a 32-yard field goal. Donnie Jones places it down. And Henry's kick is good, but the Cardinals hold the Eagles to 3. Now 10-7, Philadelphia. John Abraham, big sack on the last Eagles possession. 9 plays, 64 yards. Nick Foles now 10 of 12 today. Touchdown pass to Zach Ertz back in the first quarter. Arenas from the 1. Arenas out across the 20. Well, Saturday, it's the Big Ten championship game on Fox. Third-ranked Ohio State takes on number 11 Michigan State. See which team will earn an automatic bid to a BCS bowl game. Our coverage of the Big Ten championship begins Saturday at 7:30 Eastern only on Fox. Another wild day of college football yesterday.
Well, the Ohio State-Michigan game, crazy finish, but you can't top Auburn, Alabama. I mean, that was unbelievable.
It's a crazy, crazy game.
Incredible ending. Cardinals start from the 22-yard line, trailing by 3. Palmer over the top. And the catch is made by the tight end, Jim Trey. D'Amico Ryans the tackle, a gain of 6. Under 4 minutes remaining, second quarter here in Philadelphia.
And this is one of the good things that you see during the course of a game is when a blitz was successful earlier in the game and you come back to it again and your offense is able to pick it up and keep your quarterback clean in that situation. Carson Palmer actually hit earlier on that exact same blitz in the first quarter. That time, his guys up front take care of him.
2 tight ends plus an extra blocker, Bobby Massey, on second down. As the Cardinals move the chains, and we check in with Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
Rookie Cordero Patterson leads the league in kick returns, so the Vikings want to get him more involved in the offense. Smart plan. He takes the pitch out of the backfield, breaks a couple of tackles. 33 yards later, he's given the Vikings the lead over the Bears, 7-3. Kenny Moose and Goose.
All right, thanks very much, Kurt. NFC North matchup in Minneapolis. First and 10 from the 33-yard line as Carson was under pressure once again. This time from Fletcher Cox. He's already been sacked 3 times in the first half.
Wow, this is somebody that just gets beat quick right here. Fletcher Cox is going to be down in the stance right here. Watch how quick he wins this battle. Darren College, don't know if he got tripped up by one of his teammates. Yeah, looks like he got stepped on by Lyle Senline, but went down, and Fletcher Cox just came scot-free to Carson Palmer.
Empty backfield, second and 10. Palmer's pass is deflected. Bradley Fletcher on the coverage.
I'll tell you what, nice pass rush all by Trent Cole. He was pretty close, looked like from down here.
Yeah, with just 3 guys rushing in that situation, Tony. And they're fortunate that this was not intercepted. Look at all the Eagle defenders in that area.
There's Trent Cole on the outside. I mean, he's really putting pressure on that outside.
Yeah, you're going to have to be aware of that if you're going to go empty.
Absolutely.
3rd down and 10. Cardinals must get to the 43 for a first down. And they do not, as that pass deflects off the hands of Michael Floyd. So the Cardinals will punt it back to the Eagles.
To be able to create separation, you've got to be able to get in and out of your routes quickly. You don't want to round at the top and be a little bit sloppy. You can see right there, a little bit sloppy. He gets kind of rerouted by Connor Barwin at the beginning, and it kind of got him out of sync on that entire route.
Fastenal punting for the 3rd time. Taken at the 19 by Deshaun Jackson. And Jackson is down at the 23-yard line. Justin Bethel with the tackle on special teams. Good stand for the Eagles defense. They lead by and the Eagles, if they win today, would still control their own destiny in the NFC East because they play the Dallas Cowboys last game of the season.
Yeah, that's the important thing to know. They control their destiny, which is all you can ask at this point. You know, going to be tough for Arizona. You saw Seattle at the top of that conference at 10-1, tied with San Francisco at 7-4, and 3 division games remaining for the Arizona Cardinals down the stretch.
Nick Foles on first down, lobbing it up for Deshaun Jackson, who makes the catch and goes over 1,000 yards for the season.
That's just a tremendous touch by Nick Foles right here. It just drops it right in over the top of Patrick Peterson. And that's a matchup that when we talked to Arizona, we talked to Darnell Dockett. He said, it's up to us. We're very, very confident with our back end taking care of the passing game of the Philadelphia Eagles.
25-yard pass play. Now Foles with time on first down, looking for Avant. No flags. Tyrann Mathieu on the coverage, so the clock stops with 2:01 remaining.
See if there's a little bit of contact here right at the end. He gets his head around. There's a little bit of incidental contact, but the officials decided to let them play through.
Now 2nd and 10, final play before the 2-minute warning. Bit of a broken play as the ball comes loose and it winds up in the hands of McCoy on the toss from Foles. As Foles is going down, he pitched it to McCoy. So McCoy makes something out of nothing. 2-minute warning in Philadelphia. Eagles by 3. A minute 52 remaining, 2nd quarter here in Philadelphia. Eagles lead by 3. Foles on 3rd down and 5. It's McCoy. And McCoy is knocked out of bounds by Washington. He is close to a first down. And he did, in fact, pick up the first. So the Eagles move the chains. They have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. So do the Cardinals. From the Arizona 42, off the fake to McCoy. Foles going deep for Deshaun Jackson in the end zone, and it is broken up by Patrick Peterson.
That's a good job by Deshaun Jackson, recognizing immediately that this is going to be a jump ball situation. You'll see him turn into the defender right about here. You know, he knows he's going to have to play that ball and prevent Patrick Peterson from making the interception. That's the reason you get thrown footballs in those situations. If Nick Foles has the confidence that Deshaun Jackson will go up and battle and prevent an interception, he'll get other opportunities.
Yeah, he got a little shaken up on that play. It happened right in front of me, and he just sort of limped off to the sideline right now. We'll get a checkup on that right now.
There's timeout on the field. Received a replay page. We will take timeout to investigate.
Not sure why the replay booth would page Tony Correnti, but he's going to find out. What's coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, Kurt Menefee?
Coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, we'll have highlights from all the big games in the NFL.
Make it 3. What camera? It's good side. He don't have a good side. Camera 4. Camera.
We'll have the highlights, the Visa Halftime.
That wasn't an act at all. That's exactly what it's like in L.A. I just want to let everyone know.
There is no issue or play to review. There was a miscalculation of the replay review system. It will be second down.
Do you think Jimmy or Terry in the control room buzzed down to Tony Correnti?
That's the only thing I can find for an explanation, because that was bizarre from the get-go. I think Jimmy and Terry might have hit, instead of hitting camera 2, they hit replay.
Yeah. Maybe the officials just wanted a break. Because that pace, I'll tell you what, they must be, they're sucking a little bit of wind down here also, having them guys not getting a break.
That's right.
I do like the call, though. I'm going to take time to investigate.
Investigation has been concluded. And Deshaun Jackson, helped out by the delay, he's back on the field. Foles with time. He throws, and it's Peterson. This time on Avant. Peterson makes the play.
Nick Foles has the opportunity to go all over the field to try and find the matchup, and that's not one you want to try and find. Patrick Peterson is becoming one of the better cornerbacks in the NFL. A lot of confidence in his ability to take down the top receiver from your opponent.
He was not matched up with Jackson on that last play because Jackson was lined up in the backfield. Now Jackson, bottom of your screen, matched up with Peterson. Third down and 10. Foles running away from pressure. Now he throws. It's Cooper who comes back to make the catch. But he will be 2 yards shy of the marker, down at the 34. Time continues to run. What will Chip Kelly do here on 4th down and 2? Either leave the offense on the field or attempt a 52-yard field goal. And Arizona not using one of their timeouts to stop the clock.
That's the interesting part. If I'm Bruce Arians, I would have forced their hand at the end of that play, called my timeout, saved some time, and then allowed Chip Kelly to make his decision from that point. Potentially maybe getting the ball back at the 20-yard line if they punt into the end zone.
So the clock winds down to 43 seconds before the Eagles use their first timeout. An early Arizona turnover as Palmer is sacked by Cole. And the Eagles capitalize. Foles to Zach Ertz in the end zone. 7-0 Philadelphia. But then on 3rd down and 20, it is Palmer to Fitzgerald, a 43-yard touchdown reception by the future Hall of Famer Larry Fitzgerald. And now Chip Kelly will in fact leave his offense out on the field on 4th down and 2 from the Cardinals 34.
Well, this is that tough part of the field at this time of year when you're on that 50-51-yard field goal attempt.
Jackson in motion to the left. The handoff to McCoy, and LaShawn McCoy picks up an Eagles first down.
You got to be expecting that as a defensive lineman. They go and they spread everybody out and then run the short with McCoy right down your throat.
Eagles still have 2 timeouts. Clock continues to run from the 29. Foles with loads of time throws to the end zone. There is a flag. Riley Cooper, the intended receiver. Gerard Powers on the coverage.
Now we'll take a look, and they're going to try and find out if they think that this ball was catchable or not. But watch Riley Cooper. He's going to try to slow down. That's what's going to generate the contact by Gerard Powers, is that ball is kind of thrown behind him.
Pass interference. Defense, number 25. Ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. Automatic first down.
It was catchable. Only the second accepted penalty in this game. So the Eagles with 19 seconds on the clock. They have 2 timeouts. First and goal from the 1. Cooper in motion. Split backs. Foles to the end zone. Touchdown. Brent Selleck.
Man coverage down here tight to the goal line. One of the things you want to do is get your crossing routes going. Got shallow crosses along. You see everybody in that man-to-man coverage trying to run those bubbles. And Brent Selleck pops open on the backside.
4th touchdown of the season for Selleck. 2nd touchdown scored by an Eagles tight end. There's Powers, who was called for the pass interference, leading to the Eagles touchdown.
I think the Eagles kind of got away with it a little bit here because maybe a little bit mismanagement of the clock in that 4th down situation. Very fortunate to get that pass interference call in the end zone to get down close.
And you have the Cardinals, who did not use a timeout to stop the clock on the other side either. So Nick Foles with a 2nd touchdown pass today. That's now 18 touchdowns and no interceptions on the season. What a run it has been, starting with that 7-touchdown game out in Oakland.
And it's really amazing because you go back to the beginning of the year. We talked about this earlier. He's the backup quarterback. The decision made the 2nd preseason game. We all thought Michael Vick the more natural fit to this style of offense. But every time Nick Foles has got an opportunity to play when Michael Vick was hurt, he's played well. He has that one game against Dallas that nobody can really figure out. Was that the anomaly in Nick Foles' season? Because he did not play well at all against Dallas and then ended up getting hurt in that game with the concussion. But every other time he has come on the field in this offense, he's played very, very well.
The Foles now 18-0 in the touchdown interception ratio. Kickoff will be scooped up at the 11 by Arenas. And Arenas is met by Rock Carmichael with 11 seconds remaining in the first half. Well, American Idol is looking for the next superstar. Join Jennifer Lopez, Keith Urban, Harry Connick Jr., along with Ryan Seacrest as they search for the best new talent. American Idol's most exciting season yet begins Wednesday, January 15th, right here on Fox. Now, the Cardinals, they did not use a timeout. They could have gotten the ball back with about a minute remaining, depending on what happened during that Eagles drive, but instead they will run out the clock, trail by 10, heading into the locker room at halftime. So it's the Eagles 17 and the Cardinals 7. Time now for the Visa halftime report. As we send it to Kurt Menefee and the gang in Los Angeles.
Will on the road. Let's go. Roll kill on 3. 1, 2, 3. Roll kill.
As Palmer is hit loose of the football. Falls to the end zone. Touchdown. Palmer fires to Fitzgerald. He makes the catch. He's inside the 10 and takes it in for an Arizona touchdown. Falls to the end zone. Touchdown. Back in Philadelphia, Eagles lead 17-7 as we get set for the start of the second half. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. 10-point lead for Philadelphia. Cardinals committed turnovers on each of their first 2 possessions, and first miscue led to an Eagles touchdown.
Yeah, and surprised to see that Philadelphia is trailing in time of possession, Kenny.
It is Brad Smith who is back deep. We saw him out at Wildcat quarterback for one play in the second quarter. Smith takes a knee. So the Eagles will start at the 20. Remember, the Eagles elected to defer at the start of the game. They wound up scoring early anyway following the turnover. Now they get the ball first in the second half.
And they've got to get their running game going. We talked about the matchup at the top. Tony mentioned he was going to be watching the #1 rush offense in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles, versus the #2 rush defense, the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals are winning that battle, but really the difference in the first half, again, Nick Foles. I mean, he continues to play at a very, very high level in this offense this season.
The reigning NFC Offensive Player of the Month, off to a good start here in December as he hits McCoy on the screen, but McCoy will lose a yard.
Thanks, Kenny. Well, I talked to Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly said one thing he wants to change from first half to the second half is too many 3-and-outs. They got to go and they got to be more productive. They got to put series together and make it work. I asked him about the red zone also, about deciding to go in there and put Brad Smith in the Wildcat. He said it was something that they worked on during the off week, and they wanted to try and go and see how that fit in. And also talked to Bruce Arians. He said, you know, we've been in this situation before. We're not going to panic. We're not going to force anything. So don't expect them to go and come out here and see something crazy. They're just going to go and play their game and do what they do. So I was really surprised how really relaxed and calm Bruce was.
All right, thanks, Goose. Foles on the keeper, slid, marked down at the 29, just shy of a first down. And now it is Foles again, and this time he picks up the first.
Yeah, and I think this is one of the reasons why everybody thought that Michael Vick was the better fit in this offense, because of this play right here. It's a zone read or a read keep. It's not a read option. There is no option element in this offense, and it was a topic of discussion this week on a comment made by Bruce Arians when he referenced Washington and their offense with Robert Griffin III.
This time Foles hands it off to McCoy. And McCoy fights his way back to the line of scrimmage.
And I think the really interesting thing about this play, and that's what Chip Kelly calls it, it's a play, it's not an offense, is that it really challenges the instincts of the defensive end. I mean, he has trained his entire career to come and hit the quarterback. And as you read that mesh point and the defensive end is coming at you, you know, you're just going to let the ball go to LaShawn McCoy, and there he goes. And when you get a spread offense and you're trying to get the numbers in the box favorable to you, you're going to get 6 a lot. Well, Nick Foles is able to account for that 6 guy because the defensive end is actually going to come after him.
Now on 2nd and 11, that pass is intended for Riley Cooper, and we spoke with Foles about his athletic upbringing. He was a baseball player, he was a basketball player, and he has taken little bits and pieces from each of those sports and incorporated them into his play at quarterback.
Absolutely. So all you parents out there who are trying to get your son into one sport and dominate that year-round, understand what Nick Foles is saying. You know, he played basketball. We've seen it a couple times here today in the screen game where he's making a screen pass, and he says it's like when I played basketball and I was doing the no-look pass. The ball has to come out at different angles. So I think that, you know, for parents, you know, let your kids explore all the different sports because you gain skill sets from basketball, baseball, lacrosse, all these different sports you're playing.
He even said it's soccer, too. So
yeah,
going
that
at
was
foot
good.
speed, that was very impressive.
Now the Eagles forced to call timeout with the play clock winding down. Looks like he had trouble hearing the call in his helmet communication. He said playing shortstop on the baseball field taught me how to throw sidearm and throw while falling down, and that's similar to what we have talked about in the past with Russell Wilson of the Seahawks. He was a minor league baseball player.
Yeah, very beneficial, very beneficial. And you know, getting back to that read keep thing, you know, Nick Foles, you know, he's smart. It's a decision. It's a read and react situation, and he makes decisions, you know, in that situation that are favorable, whether he's going to give it or keep it. And, you know, he's not going to break a 60-yard run, but he does put you in very good down and distance situations.
Foles making his 6th start of the season today. Michael Vick started the other 6 games for the Eagles. 3rd down and 11. The Eagles must get to the 42. And they do as Riley Cooper makes the catch out of the 47-yard line, a 15-yard connection.
And this is a nice job by Bryce Brown in protection. And a lot of times when we talk about protection, we just focus on the offensive line, but he scanned everything there and put himself in good position to pick up the blitzer.
And now the handoff to Brown, who's across midfield into Cardinals territory for a gain of 4.
Well, you're going to bring pressure to the right side. Watch Bryce Brown. So he's going to watch as everything develops. He just scans. He watches everybody pick, and then he slides around. Now, that's Calais Campbell. That's a big defensive lineman. But when one of your offensive linemen takes a linebacker or a safety and part of the protection, then you just continue to move and find that open man. Sometimes it ends up being a defensive lineman that you have to block.
Second down and 6. Oh, what a hit by Tyrann Mathieu on DeSean Jackson.
Man, Tyrann Mathieu read this right off the snap. He makes a break, and he's in his chops before he even realizes he's getting tackled. Now it's right back up, though, Darryl. He's a tough kid.
Yeah, he is. He is. We've seen that through his career. I tell you what, that is great instincts and recognition by Tyrann Mathieu, because that's hard to do. That's such a quick design play to be able to get that type of hit in that situation.
Jackson stays on the field. Third down and 8. And Foles finds his man as the tight end, Zach Ertz, for another Eagles first down, a 16-yard pass play.
Yeah, and Michael Strahan mentioned this, at the halftime in the studio about Philadelphia really getting the tight end back involved in this offense. It's been Zach Ertz and Brent Selleck today.
They both have touchdowns. Foles this time looking for Jason Avant. Took a hit from Dan Williams, did Nick Foles. Foles now 19 of 26, 204 yards, a couple of touchdown passes. Set numerous passing records at the University of Arizona.
Lane Johnson out here, your right tackle just moved outside.
The handoff to McCoy, and McCoy finds a big hole and picks up another first down.
That was a good decoy out there, huh, Darryl?
Got my eye headed out that way. I'm like, all right, we got a big guy out here. What are we going to do?
That guy's way too big to be a receiver. I mean, look at him out there. It looks like...
You go get him. No, you go get him.
6'6", 310 Goose. Earlier this season, the left tackle Jason Peters lined up at wide receiver.
Oh, that looked like it was backwards, too. Yeah, that's a loss of yardage.
So the ball will be spotted at the 24-yard line, a loss of 2 on the backwards pass.
Now, obviously, in that situation, you wonder if that was, Riley Cooper is going to make that catch. He's going to be eligible to throw the ball down the field. That's one of those gadget plays you practice all week, and I think we might have just missed an opportunity to execute that one.
So now second down and 12. Foles to Ertz. Touchdown, his second today.
You come into a game with a plan in place, and when we talked to Darnell Dockett, he was very, very confident in what Patrick Peterson would be able to do against DeSean Jackson. Well, that has not been the case today with the other matchups involving the tight end. Zach Ertz and Brent Selleck have been the difference in the passing game today. The Arizona Cardinals have not found that matchup against the Eagle tight ends.
Some great decisions by Nick Foles. Unbelievable his game today so far.
His 19th touchdown pass of the season. His third today. Still no picks.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By the new 2014 Dodge Durango. By K Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K. And by T-Mobile. Unleash.
Well, we enjoyed some cheesesteaks yesterday here in Philadelphia. How could you not?
After all the turkey we had, right?
2 with provolone and pepper, please.
And 2 touchdowns for Zach Ertz. 24-7 Philadelphia. Javier Arenas spins and is tackled just shy of the 20-yard line by Casey Matthews. Ertz celebrates. Eagles by 17. Aerial coverage provided by Nationwide Insurance. Bruce, I see a car down there in the parking lot. All good. early third quarter. 17-point lead for the Eagles as Mendenhall gains 7. Time for a game break with Kurt.
After being held to just 2 first-half field goals on the second play from scrimmage in the second half, the Bears get it going. Josh McCown to Alshon Jeffrey. He runs it 80 yards for the score, and they lead Minnesota 13-7. Kenny Moose and Goose.
All right, thanks, Kurt. Bears still in the playoff hunt in the NFC North. A win, and Bears would be tied with the Lions atop the division. Both of these teams, the Cardinals and Eagles, in playoff contention. Mendenhall is close to a first down. Eagles won their last home game against Washington. Prior to that, had lost 10 straight here in Philadelphia. They have a 17-point lead today against the Cardinals club that has gone 5-1 at home this season. It was 2-3 on the road.
And that was their challenge. You know, Bruce Arians told his guys at the beginning of this week, listen, we're a playoff caliber team. We expect to be there, but we're going to have to go out on the road. This was an important game for them to come out against a quality opponent and play well.
On first down, up the middle, it's Mendenhall. There is a flag. Only 2 accepted penalties combined in the first half.
Holding, offense, number 74. 10-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
That's on the right guard, the former Eagle draft pick, Paul Fenica.
Yeah, if you keep an eye on Paul Fenica, he goes and stops the initial hit right there, but he goes and grabs the outside. I was just going to go and say those defensive linemen got to go and shed the blocks a little bit better, but can't do that when them offensive linemen are grabbing you and hugging you.
And now 1st and 20 following the penalty. Empty backfield. Quick release from Palmer, and it's Stephon Taylor. Taylor picks up a first down. He's finally pinched down by Will Allen. He was Zach Ertz's teammate at Stanford. Ertz with 2 touchdowns today, and now Taylor gains 30.
He's going to come out of here. He's going to do your shallow route, but what I want you to watch is the wide receiver outside, Michael Floyd. Watch his recognition right here. He sees the catch and then the breakaway, and watch the effort he has against Kerry Williams, getting that leverage in the block downfield. Nice job.
Taylor remains in the backfield. On 1st and 10 from midfield. Palmer over the middle. It was intended for Fitzgerald.
He draws a bit of a crowd, huh?
Yeah, I'd say a couple.
Holy cow. Every ball that's been thrown, there's like 3 guys on top of him.
Yeah, within 3 feet of him, too. It's amazing.
Only 2 receptions for Larry Fitzgerald today, but he does have the only Arizona Cardinals touchdown. Second and 10. To the outside is the tight end Hausler, who makes the catch. Nice diving catch by Hausler, and he picks up another Cardinals first.
Another one of those weapons we've talked about, starting to develop that chemistry with Carson Palmer in the passing game. And you know, it used to be easy when you defended Arizona because you just had to take away Larry Fitzgerald, and as Rob Hausler develops and Michael Floyd, and you get Andre Ellington back healthy, there's a lot of weapons out there to worry about against this Cardinal offense.
12 completions for Palmer, 8 different receivers. It is Hausler again, wrapped up by Nate Allen. He was marked down at the 36-yard line, so a gain of 5 for the Cardinals tight end.
And it's hard for these guys to understand that concept. And you know, sometimes in the passing game here, you know, you're going to be a decoy. You're going to be opening up an area for one of your teammates to go, and he's going to be the primary in that route. And it's just taken a while for everybody to kind of buy in and to understand what they're trying to do in the passing game. But the last couple of weeks, you've seen it come together. Haven't seen it as much as consistently this afternoon.
Second down at 5, it's Fitzgerald. His 3rd reception, and Larry Fitzgerald Picks up another Cardinals first down.
Well, after he gets the ball, Larry Fitzgerald, he just, as big as he is, Darryl, he goes and makes some nice moves, just slides down to get this first down.
And Mill Davis, the Eagles defensive coordinator, used to be the coordinator with the Cardinals, and he told us yesterday he spent a lot of time with Larry Fitzgerald. He would sit next to him on the bus, and he said his desire to catch the ball and the strength of his hands are second to none.
Yeah, I really believe that, and that's a big statement. There have been some great receivers throughout the history of this game, but I think at the point of the catch, Larry is the best.
Now Palmer to the end zone. Lloyd was the intended receiver. Now there's a flag back at the 37-yard line.
Illegal use of the hands to the face, number 72 on the defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
That's on Cedric Thornton.
Well, we had our eyes focused mainly downfield. Michael Floyd versus Kerry Williams. Let him play on the outside, and then we'll go back. Number 72 right there in the middle of your screen gets that left hand up under the face mask of Eric Winston.
So a new set of downs for the Cardinals. 6 minutes remaining, third quarter. From the Eagles 24. The toss to Mendenhall. Mendenhall gains a yard, 2nd and 9 upcoming.
That was a nice play by D'Amico Ryans, because that play looked like it had an opportunity to get the Eagles defense outflanked, but his speed from the inside to force Rashard Mendenhall back inside.
That's one thing you can do and stop that zone blocking up front with them defensive guys. Just run to the ball, stay up on your feet. Don't go to the ground, because what they want to do is they want to cut you and look for that cutback lane.
2nd down and 9 from the Philadelphia 23. Palmer's pass too far. Intended for Fitzgerald, Fletcher, and Allen on the coverage.
Well, you can see the trust that Carson Palmer is developing with these guys, because he's had a couple of throws into some pretty good coverage. One of them cost him with the interception by Nate Allen, but he's not afraid to throw that ball up when his receivers are covered.
10th play of the drive upcoming for the Cardinals, 3rd down and 9. Cardinals must get to the 14-yard line. Palmer to the end zone. Floyd. Touchdown, Michael Floyd.
You get that bunch formation at the line of scrimmage. You can see right now there was confusion. Brandon Boykin already talking to one of his teammates to see what happened. How did Michael Floyd, the top of the bunch, how did he come so clean? A little collision right there. Nice job with the rub.
Nice job getting his feet down too, Floyd.
Yeah.
Floyd's 4th touchdown reception this season. Palmer has now thrown at least 2 touchdowns in 5 consecutive games. The Arizona Cardinals pull to within 10. Carson Palmer hitting Michael Floyd for the Cardinals touchdown, a 10-play, 80-yard drive. It's now a 10-point game. Brad Smith on the return for the Eagles. And Smith makes a couple of nice moves, takes it out just shy of the 30.
And you look at the time of possession right there, it's been a top of a conversation we've had with Chip Kelly when we've sat down with him. He calls it the most overrated stat in football. And really what he's worried about is, what is the best way for me to move the ball? How's the best way for us to score points? But there's situations during the course of the game where you do want to take time off that clock. Maybe not result in a drive with points, but really take some time off.
Falls on 1st down. And that pass batted out of the air by Calais Campbell.
When you watch film on the Arizona Cardinals and you see Calais Campbell, he's very, very disruptive as a defensive player. He's a big body up front. I asked Darnell Dockett about him. I said, you know, how come we don't know more about him? He said, he's so close to getting sacks. He's so close to getting tackles for losses. He's just got to finish these plays. He is disruptive, but he's not getting the big stat.
2nd and 10, McCoy loses yardage. Never be without football. Get coverage of every NFL game on NFL Mobile. Call ** NFL to download it now. Well, you talk about time of possession and knocking minutes off the clock. The last Eagles drive, Darryl, went 13 plays, nearly 5 minutes. But now, Eagles with a 3rd down at 12. Low snap, handled by Foles. Moving to his right, wrapped up, and sacked for the 3rd time today. It is Matt Shaughnessy, the former Raider, with his 2nd sack of the season, so the Cardinals will get the ball right back.
And it's one of the things that Chip Kelly talked to Tony Saragusa about, you know, coming out for the 2nd half, is we can't have these 3 and outs, and that was a critical spot to have a 3 and out.
Jones punting from inside the 5-yard line. Well, the Cardinals should have good field position. There is a flag. Flag along the far sideline just in front of the Cardinals bench area. There's Shaughnessy, who had the sack of Foles a moment ago.
On spot for the flag at that point at the time. 12 players on the field, maybe?
A lot to talk about.
Philadelphia has exercised the option. There was illegal substitution, 12 players on the defense. The 12th player did not get off the field. Philadelphia's exercised the option of declining the foul, accepting the result to the play, 1st down.
Defense would be the receiving team, the Cardinals. 69 yards on the punt and roll by Jones. Cardinals will take over, trailing by 10, late 3rd quarter. Now the Eagles got a fortuitous bounce. Peterson does not call for the fair catch. Lets the punt bounce, but it goes 69 yards. Eagles decline the penalty. And now Palmer is sacked for the 2nd time today by Brandon Graham. It's the Eagles' 4th sack of the game.
Very difficult when you go against the Eagles because you have some guys that are old defensive linemen playing in different positions. You catch a tight end working with your tackle on that one. Jim Dre kind of gets stuck on Brandon Graham. And that's a matchup that the Eagles will love to take advantage of during the course of the afternoon.
Graham, the Eagles' 1st-round pick back in 2010, loss of 9 on the sack. 2nd down and 19. Cardinals keep it on the ground with Taylor.
Well, right now, the Eagles are very fortunate to have this position on the field to defend because, I mean, Donnie Jones just got him out of a big jam on that last punt. We had the 12th player who was not able to get off the field in that situation. You take a look right here. He's not going to be able to get off the field in time, so he's going to get called. But what that did is that kind of confused Patrick Peterson a little bit. He let this punt hit the ground, and it got about another 15 to 20 yards and roll at that point.
Palmer on 3rd down and 12. He throws and the catch is made for a 1st down by Michael Floyd. Out at the 30-yard line, he needed 12 and he gained 15.
Nice timing on this throw catch between Carson Palmer and Michael Floyd. Kerry Williams is in good position initially on that coverage, but Michael Floyd breaks back to the sideline. Ball delivered on time for an easy catch.
Yeah, that offensive line for the Cardinals is really doing a good job. I mean, the Eagles are getting close, but when they don't bring a blitz or bring that 5th or 6th guy, they're doing a great job with just the 4 up on the line of scrimmage.
From the 31 on first down, it is Mendenhall. Fights his way back to the line of scrimmage, then gains a yard. Time for a game break. Here's Kurt.
Well, we showed you that 80-yard touchdown reception by Chicago's Alshon Jeffrey. This one about half the distance, but nearly twice as good. Watch him go up and hang on to it into the end zone for the score. Bears now lead it by 10 late in the 3rd quarter over the Vikings. Kenny Moose and Goose.
Now, you keep talking about it, Brandon Marshall, but Alshon Jeffrey, man, this kid is really coming into his own.
He really is.
Oh,
And Josh McCown, too. He's done just a tremendous job for the Chicago Bears, filling in for Jay Cutler during his injury.
A win, and the Bears would be tied atop the division with the Lions as Palmer is picked off by Kerry Williams. Pass was intended for Roberts. It's the 3rd Arizona turnover, 3rd interception of the season for the former Titan and Raven, Kerry Williams.
Oh, this is bad location on the throw by Carson Palmer because the middle of the field is open. If he throws it to the middle of the field, he can allow his receiver to run under the catch, going all the way from the outside. You're going to see how open the middle of the field is. There's no reason to have this ball on the outside. Patrick Chung jumps the underneath stuff. All you got to do is get that ball out toward the middle of the field, and he could still be running for the touchdown.
Yeah, he just laid it up there. I mean, it was a floater. But you're exactly right, Tal. There's nobody in the middle of the field to go and lead him.
So the Eagles take over at their 49-yard line, leading by 10. Off the play fake. Foles looking for Selleck. Been a big day for the Eagles tight end. Zach Ertz with a pair of touchdowns. Selleck with 3 receptions and a touchdown as well.
It really has. And credit the Eagles offense for finding the matchup that works for them. You compliment the Arizona Cardinals and their defensive front really have kind of kept LaShawn McCoy in that running game in check. Deshaun Jackson was a matchup that they were worried about, but you look what the tight ends have done today. I mean, that's an area that nobody really anticipated, a breakout game like that for these Eagles tight ends.
Falls pass through the hands of McCoy with 42 seconds remaining. 3rd quarter here in Philadelphia. Eagles looking to capitalize on the 3rd Cardinals turnover of the game.
And one of the guys I would expect to see kind of shift in their responsibilities, Tyrann Mathieu, to see him matched up against Selleck or Ertz the remainder of the game.
He's matched up here with Jason Avant on 3rd down and 10. Eagles must get to the 41 for a first down as they keep it on the ground with McCoy. And McCoy will be tackled at the 46-yard line, 5 yards shy of a first. So the Eagles once again unable to capitalize on an Arizona turnover.
Yeah, back-to-back 3-and-outs now for this Eagle offense. And that one, your defense gives you outstanding field position on the interception by Kerry Williams. You've got to be able to do more than that with that possession.
When you get the turnovers, you get the momentum, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're punting the ball. I mean, you never have a chance to go and use that momentum against the team that you just got the ball from.
Eagles will let the clock run all the way down. 3rd quarter comes to an end. Teams exchange 3rd quarter touchdowns. The NFL on Fox will continue after these words from your local Fox station. We head to the 4th quarter here in Philadelphia. Eagles leading by 10, look to extend their win streak to 4. Cardinals have won 4 straight. Their catch is called for at the 12-yard line by Patrick Peterson. Well, this Thanksgiving weekend, whether you're a parent, teacher, student, or a fan, there's a fun and easy way for you to hop on the NFL Play 60 bus to get on board and join the movement that has helped millions of children get active and healthy. Visit NFLrush.com/play60.
Everybody needs to do that, Darryl. Get outside and play. Get off those video games. Get on the grass. Go to the park a little bit. Get a little exercise, me included, huh?
Goose, we encourage you to
sit up.
We encourage you, Goose, to play 120.
Kenny with a shot.
Yeah, how about that one? Thanks, Ken.
I'll join you. I'll join you out there. There's Fitzgerald out to the 13-yard line for a gain of 2.
Well, you don't like the black? I think it looks pretty good right here. I don't understand what you're talking about, Kenny.
Dark colors and vertical stripes, big man.
Unbelievable.
All in fun. Second down and 8.
Way to clean it up. Yeah. I'm still mad, dude.
Yeah.
That doesn't clean everything up. No.
He never said that in front of this entire TV audience. Absolutely not.
There's Palmer on second down. Palmer to the outside, and it is Hausler. Hausler knocked out of bounds after a gain of 5 by Bradley Fletcher.
I think the Eagles are doing a good job of bringing the pressure time after time. Carson Palmer, I think, is really getting agitated a little bit by those guys up in the middle.
Third down and 3. Palmer sacked once again for the 5th time today.
Yeah, I saw the play before. When you get that pressure right up in Carson Palmer's face, sort of slows him down a little bit. Then Trent Cole comes on the edge and gets him. Take a look at it right here. Watch these guys in the middle also. Just bringing the pressure, bringing it, working their moves. Carson Palmer brings the ball down, and Trent Cole goes and cleans it up. That's a great job of those guys working together up on the line of scrimmage.
Second sack for Cole today. Graham has 2. Eagles with 5. Jackson. Deshaun Jackson is inside the 25. There is a flag as Jackson takes it all the way for an Eagles touchdown, but there is a flag back at the 20-yard line. Happy birthday, Deshaun.
While the kick was in the air, holding, receiving team. By rule, this penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick, 10 yards.
There it is, Kurt Coleman.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by State Farm. It pays to double check. Talk to your agent today. By Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL. And by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving.
Eagles lead by 10. A Deshaun Jackson punt return for a touchdown erased due to a penalty, so it cost the Eagles not only 7 points, but 64 yards. They start from their own 36. Early fourth quarter here in Philadelphia, as Foles is nearly intercepted. Tyrann Mathieu on the coverage. Foles has now thrown 230 consecutive passes without getting picked off, dating back to last season.
Yeah, and there's an adjustment there with Tyrann Mathieu matched up against Zach Ertz in the one-on-one situation. These Philadelphia Eagle tight ends have had an outstanding afternoon. Get one of your better cover guys on.
8 receptions, 3 touchdowns for the Eagle tight ends. Here's McCoy, who found a big hole. First down and more. He's still going. LaShawn McCoy, and there is a flag at the end of the play as McCoy is forced out of bounds at the Cardinals' 29, a 37-yard run.
Again, it's going to be a clip in the back, and all you've got to do is be like a basketball player and position your body, because LaShawn McCoy has just broke into the open field. Here it is, right there, right as he flashes by. You don't have to do that.
Run, illegal block in the back. Offense, there you are. 10-yard penalty. First down.
It's Jason Avant.
And all Jason Avant has to do is follow Tyrann Mathieu down inside and then stand like a basketball player setting a pick. And he won't get the call.
Yep, block him by position.
And it's 2 very foolish penalties by these Eagles in just a short amount of time. The hold on Kurt Coleman is, I mean, that's a double team as a gunner on the outside. There's no reason for you to pull that guy down. It cost Deshaun Jackson the touchdown.
Now falls with a pump fake, and then he throws on 2nd and 1, and it's Selleck for an Eagles first down at the Arizona 45. Nick Foles knows the Selleck family very well. Brent's brother Garrett was Foles' roommate at Michigan State before Nick transferred to Arizona. Now playing with older brother Brent. Foles looking for Riley Cooper with Gerard Powers on the coverage, no flags.
Well, they've been letting him play on the outside. This is the third time that we've seen one-on-one on the outside with a lot of physical play, some hand checking. Gerard Powers has to be careful. You know, he's not really getting that head turned around. But I think when you come into a game, you recognize the style that the officials are calling pass interference on the outside in one-on-one situations. And today, this afternoon, they're letting him be physical in those matchups.
Cooper in motion, 2nd and 10. Foles takes it to the 46-yard line. He's tackled by Carlos Dansby.
You know, Dow, you talked about it earlier. Philadelphia up by 10 right here. You know, I understand how you want to go and have your offense come out and keep the pace up, but you know, you have to go and work this right here, this clock. That's got to be one thing that you need to do. And right now, Nick Foles, I mean, he still has 18 seconds on the clock, and they're getting ready to snap it. They got to use that time to take it off the clock, so Arizona doesn't have a chance to go and get more possessions.
No gain on that last play, so Dansby credited with his 2nd sack, and now another for the Cardinals. It's their 5th sack today. Calais Campbell along with Marcus Bernard. So each team with 5 sacks in this game.
Yeah, everything broke down on this one. Number 93 coming from the left side of your screen. There's the loop inside by Bernard. Tyrann Mathieu blitzing from the secondary. We saw how quickly Arizona can strike with that play to Larry Fitzgerald in the first half. So the more time you allow on the clock, like you're saying, Tony, you're just giving Arizona more opportunities to get back into this.
A couple of penalties hurt the Eagles. And the Cardinals get the ball back with just under 11 minutes remaining. Arizona trails by 10. Coming up after the Eagles and the Cardinals, it's the State Farm postgame show with scores and highlights from around the National Football League, Week 13. Cardinals take over at their 16-yard line, trailing by 10. Palmer on first down, handing off to Mendenhall. In case you joined us late, Cardinals without their leading rusher, Andre Ellington, today, out with a left knee injury. And Rashard Mendenhall has carried 17 times for 78 yards.
He's played well today. You know, it's a nice 1-2 punch when those guys are in the backfield together, but Rashard Mendenhall has done a nice job.
Averaging 4.5 per carry.
Stephen Taylor's popped in from time to time and contributed some big plays.
Palmer hit as he throws. So it will be 3rd down and 5. More pressure on Palmer, this time from Vinny Curry. Palmer's been sacked 5 times today.
Right up the middle on Carson Palmer. He doesn't even have a chance to go and set his feet before that pressure's all over him. Vinny Curry right up the middle.
Yeah, Michael Kendricks coming from the outside as well.
3rd down and 5. Cardinals must get to the 26 for a first down. Palmer's pass is intended for Taylor. Kendricks shake it up on the play. Cardinals will punt.
Carson Palmer's hit again here by this defense as he's releasing the ball. Trent Cole here on the outside. But look at the pressure in the middle. People You know, they don't realize that pressure for those defensive tackles up in the middle, squeezing the pocket, restricts the quarterback from going and stepping up into the pocket and gaining more time.
Another opportunity for Deshaun Jackson. And Jackson tried to cut it back, is down at the 34-yard line with exactly 10 minutes remaining. Here in Philadelphia, it's the Eagles by 10.
Sponsored by Amazon's new Kindle Fire HDX tablet. Higher resolution beyond HD.
10-point lead for the Eagles, who start from their own 34-yard line. 10 minutes remaining, fourth quarter. Inside handoff to McCoy, who gains a couple out to the 37. So the Arizona defense back on the field. Cardinals have 5 sacks today. That is their pass rush specialist, Tom Pratt. He's been an NFL coach, Darryl, for 6 decades.
Wow.
He was a coach on Hank Stram's staff with the Chiefs for Super Bowl I.
You know, Darryl, me and you talk about the change we've seen. Could you imagine? From almost leather helmets to you know, aerodynamic helmets for that. Tom Pratt.
There's McCoy, and that was back in January '67. It was not even called the Super Bowl. It was the first AFL-NFL World Championship game won by the Packers 35-10, and Tom Pratt was on Hank Stram's staff. And 2 months from tomorrow, February 2nd, Super Bowl 48 on Fox.
Unbelievable. And I think you make a great point, Tony, about how the game has changed. Can you imagine what he used to teach?
Oh, man, the head slap. Come on, the forearm shiver, the crossbody block. How about all those things?
Coach, I can't do that. What do you mean?
I'll get fined $50,000.
And his Cardinals with 5 sacks of Nick Foles today, but the Eagles with a 10-point lead. With under 9 minutes remaining, Eagles looking to make it 2 in a row here at home. They had lost 10 straight home games prior to the win over Washington 2 weeks ago.
I think Tony made a good point on the last drive. The time on the clock, the play clock below there under the fourth, the 23 counting down right now, that's the play clock. And they were snapping it at 18 last time. It looks like they're slowing down a little bit, but I think that's a point, Tony, that they have to keep an eye on that and just take that down a little bit further.
Absolutely. 2nd and 5, Brown. And he spins right into the arms of Matt Shaughnessy.
There's the pressure by the Shaughnessy. I mean, unblocked. Sometimes that's the toughest tackle to make, Darryl. You know, when no one blocks you, get in the backfield like that, you got it done.
Well, that's kind of what we talked about. You're coming in and you're used to going after the quarterback. Now you've got to adjust that. In this situation, you've actually got to attack your assignment.
Yeah. 3rd down and 9. This time the Eagles take the play clock all the way down. They must get to the Cardinals 46. As the pass intended for Deshaun Jackson. And now the Eagles with 7.5 remaining will punt it right back to the Cardinals.
Jeremiah Bell, almost an opportunity for a big play right there, but short hops in.
Patrick Peterson, tight coverage all day long.
And here's Peterson back deep, who's 4 punt return touchdowns his rookie season. In 2011, none since. Fair catch back at the 14-yard line. Still a 10-point game, 7:20 to play. Cardinals get the ball back, trailing by 10. Arizona with 7 wins, San Francisco 7 wins. 49ers will host the Rams today. It's the first place Seahawks at 10-1 against the Saints tomorrow night. From the 14-yard line, Palmer on 1st down, pass intended for the tight end, Rob Hausler.
And that's the importance of this. You mentioned at the top, Kenny, that you've got 2 teams here with first-year head coaches playing a meaningful game in the month of December. Very meaningful for the Arizona Cardinals out on the road. You saw San Francisco also at 7-4. Bruce Arians told his team this week, you know, we're playoff caliber, but we're going to have to win on the road. This is a huge barometer for them. They find themselves down 10 with just over 7 minutes here in the 4th quarter.
Palmer on 2nd down, complete to Floyd. And Floyd will turn upfield, and he picks up a first down.
Wow, that was some nice breakaway speed. When Michael Floyd first started to lose ground and come across the field, I thought he'd made a mistake. Coming out of the bunch, he's to the far right, number 15. Finds that soft spot. Now right here, I thought he was going to give up some yardage, but that's some nice breakaway speed for the big guy.
Number 15 gains 15. New set of downs for the Cardinals. Under 7 minutes remaining. Floyd in his second season out of Notre Dame. And Fitzgerald each with 4 catches today. Now Palmer on first down fires. It's Fitzgerald. Out to the 40. Another Cardinals first.
Well, he draws a crowd.
Yeah,
he's got
Michael
people
catches
around him.
First and 10 from the 40-yard line. As Palmer throws into Eagles territory, it's Roberts. And now it is ruled an incomplete pass. It is ruled to have hit the ground as the side judge, Ron Torbert, came running in.
The pass has been ruled
the near
incomplete.
sideline.
Second down.
I didn't see it hit the ground here, Kenny.
And now Bruce Arians has thrown the challenge flag.
Andre
Side
Roberts
judge
got up and told coach to throw the flag, and you see that so many times when it actually is not the case.
The side judge, Darrell, was not the official closest to the play.
On the field of an incomplete pass.
Side judge Ron Torbert came running all the way across from just in front of the Philadelphia sideline to the far side to make the signal. So now Bruce Arians will challenge. Cardinals head coach Bruce Arians challenging the previous call on the field, which was incomplete pass.
And you've got to go through the ruling of completing the process of the catch. Now the question is, does his ball hit the ground? I want you to watch right at the very end. In our opinion, up until this point, it looks good. Now right there, does it get to the ground? Does he get his hand underneath in time? Now remember, this was called incomplete on the field. So I can see this standing as called on the field just because it's hard to get a definitive look to actually make the change. And that's the other question that you brought up, Kenny. The official that made this call made it from the opposite side, from behind the play.
There must be conclusive evidence to overturn, so it will either be a 1st and 10 at the Philadelphia 42 or 2nd and 10 for the Cardinals at their own 40.
After reviewing the play, the Arizona receiver was able to possess the ball before it touched the ground. Therefore, it was a completed pass. The Arizona's ball first down at the 43-yard line. Arizona will not be charged with a timeout.
Yeah, I felt it could have gone either way, and I don't mean to be one of those guys that sits on the fence, but I could see them also being able to come out and say, we can't tell if it touched the ground at that one point right there, so we're going to leave it as called, but they decide to call it complete for the Arizona Cardinals.
I'm not surprised.
So both
You left me out on the limb the whole discussion.
I didn't say 2 words.
You didn't say anything.
Both coaches with a successful challenge today. And now Palmer off his back foot, fires downfield. What a catch by Michael Floyd. A spectacular catch inside the Eagles' 10.
I mean, this is probably the 4th time we've seen this at a double coverage, and Carson Palmer just throws it up, has trust in his guys that they're going to make a play. It cost him with an interception early in the game, but the other times they've gotten big plays offensively.
A 34-yard pass play. 1st and goal from the 9. Palmer to the end zone looking for Fitzgerald, and that's broken up by Boykin.
They got double coverage. Brandon Boykin underneath. Hands up there late. He had a great opportunity to make a huge interception right there for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Now 2nd and goal from the 9. 5.5 remaining, 4th quarter, with the Eagles leading by 10. Palmer on second down. Palmer throws, and there is a flag. Hausler, the intended receiver, Rock Carmichael on the coverage.
That's legal contact right there, but after that point, you can see all the contact down the field, inside the 5 yards.
Defense, number 21, automatic first down.
Now, you could have that physical play at the release, you know, to the 5-yard point down the field, but Rock Carmichael continued to play aggressive down to the goal line.
So it is now 1st and goal from the 1. Fitzgerald in motion. Mendenhall is stopped. D'Amico Ryans with the push. It will be 2nd and goal for the Cardinals.
He got his body turned, Tony. He didn't have any leverage. Watch, he's going to get his shoulders turned as he tries to make his cut back to the right. He kind of gets wadded up by the penetration.
Tight end Dre, he ran right into his own player right there, Jim Dre. Got to go and get some push on that line of scrimmage. Eagles did a nice job of holding that whole line up, making a wall. Let's see what they decide to do on this one. I'd be surprised if it went outside.
They lost 2 yards, Goose. Now 2nd and goal from the 3. Off the fake to Mendenhall. Palmer to Trey for a Cardinals touchdown.
That's a missed assignment down there in tight like that. You can't allow Jim Dre to come that wide open. I mean, this is one of your fundamental red zone plays in an offense. Jim Dre's lined up in the backfield. He's just going to run a flat route, and he gets dropped in coverage. Good job by your tight end releasing. Kind of cuts off the angle for Nate Allen to get out there and get the coverage.
The Cardinals have pulled to within 3. 2nd touchdown of the season for Dre, who grew up about 90 minutes north of Philadelphia in northern New Jersey. 3rd touchdown pass of the game for Carson Palmer. So the Cardinals, who trailed 24-7 with a touchdown late in the 3rd quarter, and now Dre here in the 4th. It's a 3-point lead for Chip Kelly's Eagles.
I know every time we talk to him, Tony, and we have a lot of fun with him with it, and it's an up-tempo offense. It's about moving the ball. It's doing, everything they possibly can, but he doesn't worry about that time of possession. And I think that we're seeing an example right here, right now, where, it's got to be something that you have to incorporate at this level. At Oregon, when you're averaging 42+ a game in points scored, yeah, you don't have to possess the ball that much. But
that's exactly what you're playing right there. 4 minutes, 45 seconds. That's your biggest problem. You got to go and get that down to 0.
And when we talk about time of possession, we're kind of talking about that ability in this situation, which is referred to by coaches as the 4-minute drill. And sometimes you implement that a little bit earlier in the 4th quarter because you do have a substantial lead.
There's Boykin on the return. Boykin out across the 30-yard line. Eagles led 17-7 at the half. Nick Foles hitting Zach Ertz for his 2nd touchdown today. 17-point Eagles lead. But then it was Palmer to Michael Floyd in the 3rd quarter. And moments ago, Palmer to the tight end, Jim Dre. Dre, tight end out of Stanford. Zach Ertz, tight end out of Stanford, has 2 touchdowns today. And now Bruce Arians and the Cardinals will look for their defense to hold and give the Arizona offense the ball back. Now, the longest drive by the Eagles offense today as far as time was just under 5 minutes. Their 13-play drive at the start of the 3rd quarter. There is a flag as McCoy is tackled by Dansby.
Offside, defense, in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
Now, since the Eagles' last touchdown early in the 3rd quarter, for possessions 4 punts, including 2 3-and-outs.
And that's what Chip Kelly will talk about. He'll talk about those first 2 that were 3-and-outs, because he talked to Tony coming back onto the field for the second half. We've got to eliminate those 3-and-outs. And if you do that, yeah, you are going to possess the ball for another series. But, you know, I still think that there's also a thought process you have to go through in this specific situation.
It is Matt Shaughnessy, who's had a big second half, breaking through to wrap up LaShawn McCoy.
Well, let's see what they do right here. The offensive line is on the line of scrimmage right now. The play clock is at 27, counting down. I mean, they got to use this whole play clock. If they want to go and dwindle this clock down with Arizona having no time to come back, they got to use don't play. Got to dwindle it down.
Snap with 12 seconds remaining on the play clock, and Foles was about to get sacked. He's picked off by Patrick Peterson. There is a flag. So Foles, who had not been intercepted all season long, throws the pick, but we will wait for the call from Tony Correnti.
Holding, defense, number 32. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Tyrann Mathieu.
Wow. Oh.
Working out of the slot against Jason Avant. Nick Foles gets away with one right here, because that is a terrible decision for somebody who has not thrown an interception.
Too bad decision. Snapping the ball with 14 seconds left, and then when you're wrapped up, putting the ball up in the air, just take the sack.
233 pass attempts without a pick. Now the snap comes with 7 on the play clock, and then Foles takes off. Dives head first out to the 45-yard line, a gain of 6. We'll see how much time the Eagles take here before snapping the football on second down. Play clock still at
This boggles
25.
my mind. I don't know, Darryl. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Why aren't they wasting the clock away?
Now they kill some time. Play clock down to 10. Snap with 5. It is McCoy still on his feet. And now down at the 47, about 2 yards shy of the marker. So it will be 3rd down and 2. We are under 3 minutes remaining. 4th quarter here in Philadelphia with the Eagles leading by 3.
Yeah, I think in this situation, Tony, along with what you're saying, is also just bringing your offense off the line of scrimmage into kind of that sugar huddle area, and then breaking to the line of scrimmage, you know, at a certain point as you allow that clock to go down.
Yeah, and you're helping your defense too.
Eagles again using time, and now on 3rd down and 2, it is Foles, and he will not get there. Now the Cardinals will take a timeout prior to the punt.
Well, this has been open the majority of the day on the zone read. This time it's played well by Darryl Washington in position to have Nick Foles when he decides to run.
He's got to learn how to get down better, man.
Well, that's a 3rd and 2. I understand him trying to do everything he possibly can to move the chains there.
So with 2:18 remaining, Eagles set up to punt it away. Saturday, Big Ten Championship on Fox. 3rd ranked Ohio State, 11th ranked Michigan State. See which team will earn an automatic bid to a BCS bowl game. Our coverage of Big Ten Championship game begins Saturday, 7:30 Eastern, right here on Fox. 3-point game here in Philadelphia as Jones punts from his 36-yard line. Peterson will let it go, and it will be down right around the 10-yard line with 2:08 on the clock. So with Nick Foles back on the sideline, Carson Palmer, the reigning NFC Offensive Player of the Week. He's thrown 3 touchdown passes today, 2 in the second half. He's also turned the ball over 3 times. Palmer and the Cardinals offense with 2 timeouts plus the 2-minute warning.
One word I can say, Larry Fitzgerald, keep your eye on him.
Well, 1 word or 2, Darryl?
A lot more than 1.
There's Roberts. Andre Roberts out to the 15-yard line for a gain of 4.
But I think one of the things, Tony, that has really worked out well for the Cardinals is they've kind of turned this thing around, and their offense hit their stride coming into this game. Is it wasn't just Larry Fitzgerald.
No,
we've seen Michael Floyd, and we've seen Andre Roberts and some of these other wide receivers, Rob Hausler, step up, and that's by design. This offense now is not about featuring Larry Fitzgerald. It's where Carson Palmer feels the ball should be thrown because of what the defense is doing.
Second down and 5. Final play before the 2-minute warning. Palmer looking for Floyd. No flags. Fletcher on the coverage. So we hit the 2-minute warning in Philadelphia. 3rd down and 5 for the Cardinals. When we return, they trail by 3. The NFC playoff picture. Seattle and New Orleans will play tomorrow. Detroit and Dallas both went to 7 wins on Thanksgiving Day. Carolina with their 8th consecutive win today. Both of these teams very much alive.
Very impressive by Carolina, sitting at 1-3 after the first quarter of the season, running off 8 straight.
3rd down and 5 for the Cardinals. Palmer on 3rd down through the hands of Roberts.
They had him on that one.
Yeah, they did. That ball was thrown behind him. There's no way he could have got this ball.
So now the offense will remain out on the field on 4th down with 1:55 on the clock. Palmer on 4th and 5. The pass is incomplete. No flags. It was intended for Floyd.
But they've been letting him battle on the outside all afternoon long. We saw it on 2nd down with the Kerry Williams play coming from the outside. Michael Floyd.
I don't know, Darryl.
That's the way it's been all afternoon, Tony. We've seen a number of those no calls during the course of this game. It's been physical on the outside. The opportunity they missed was on 3rd down. That's when they had the play drawn up, executed the right way, had Andre Roberts out in the flat. It's going to be an easy catch and run for the 1st down yardage, and Carson Palmer missed him on the backside.
So the Eagles will take over at the Cardinals 15. Arizona can stop the clock twice. The Eagles, of course, in field goal range already. But the Eagles cannot run out the clock. Here's McCoy. And now the Cardinals will call timeout. 1:47 remaining. Tonight on Fox Sports Live with Jay and Dan, everything you need to know from Week 13 of the NFL. Plus, what does the BCS look like after yesterday's dramatic events? And we've got the best of the best from the past 7 days in the ones of the week. That's coming up tonight. Fox Sports Live on Fox Sports 1.
What the Arizona defense has to be careful of right now is not tackling the football, Tony, and allowing somebody to break in for a touchdown run, trying to generate that turnover. Be the first guy to secure the tackle. The second guy in takes a shot at generating that turnover.
Wow, the Eagles actually got in a huddle, guys. They were in a huddle.
First of the day.
First one I see all day.
Balls out of the shotgun, 2nd and 7, hands it off to McCoy. And now the Cardinals will use their 2nd timeout. of this drive. And their final timeout of the second half. So if the Cardinals stop the Eagles on this next play, they'll line it up for a field goal, look to make it a 6-point game, and then Arizona would have another opportunity.
Yeah, and you can go back to the fourth down call and say, why didn't Bruce Arians at that point decide to punt it away and play defense there and try and hold the Philadelphia offense? They've been struggling here. We've been talking about it a lot here in this fourth quarter of not being able to take time off the clock. He's made a couple of aggressive decisions with his play calling today. The big thing is I think you had your opportunity on third down. He's worried that he's not going to get the ball back, that Philadelphia will finally hit their stride, run that clock out. So he felt it was best on fourth down to take my shot there and continue that drive. Now you just got to come out here, forget about that, hold them to 3, and then hope you get the opportunity to go down and get a touchdown.
They're going to hold them to not get the first down right here.
Third down and 4. Arizona out of timeouts. Foles spins. Can't find anyone downfield, and there is a flag. So the clock stops at 1:34.
Holding defense.
Oh, my
Number 91
goodness.
on an eligible receiver. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So now the Eagles will be able to run out the clock.
Here's Matt Shaughnessy right here on the end. Now you heard eligible receiver. Let's see who he's called for holding. He's kind of blocking right there. I do not like that call at all. That's a bootleg down inside. That's blocking right there. That's not holding on the defense. I don't like that call at all, especially in that situation. Nick Foles gets away with a huge mistake of being pushed out of bounds in that situation, preserving time on the clock.
It looked like Shaughnessy and James Casey had hold of each other at the end of the play.
Sportsmanlike conduct. Defense number 58 for foul language against an official. Automatic first down.
It's just somebody has to get Darrell Washington away. It's a bad call. I agree with you, Darrell Washington. There's nothing you can do about it now. He's not going to pick that flag up. Let's just finish this game. There were opportunities for the Cardinals to win here, but you're a leader of this defense. You're a heck of a football player. I do agree with you. I do think that you were taken away with an opportunity to get the ball back and have a chance to win this game.
So the holding penalty on Shaughnessy gives the Eagles an automatic first down, and they will be able to run out the clock. Eagles with 3 touchdown passes to tight ends. 2 to Ertz, 1 to Selleck. Eagles with a win will go to 7-5 and still control their own destiny in the NFC East should they win out, because their last game, December 29th, will be in Dallas. Last time the Eagles had 3 touchdowns from tight ends in one game, you have to go all the way back to September of '89. Keith Jackson had all 3 in a game against Washington. Great job by our entire crew here in Philadelphia, led by producer Barry Landis, director Brian Lilly, associate director Eric Mandy, broadcast associate Paul Marlborough, technical producer Sid Drexler, technical director Chris Castro. Pre-game show produced by Bill Richards, directed by Stephanie Medina. Dave Corris, our statistician, spotter Ben Bowman. As the 4-game winning streak for the Cardinals will come to an end, they will host St. Louis next week. And for Chip Kelly's Philadelphia Eagles, their 4th consecutive victory following the 3-5 start. Eagles and Dallas at 7-5 tied atop the NFC East. So for Darryl Johnston and Tony Saragusa, this is Kenny Albert.